Hello everyone. I know that I have started several challenges for myself in some later years when I decided to rebuild the whole Willow Creek, but then the game got updated, so and I didn't finish that because I kind of did give up because I was right at a goth household. I was trying to rebuild their mansion and it got changed, so I didn't want to do that anymore. And I also tried to rebuild Newcrest, and I did do that. And now I want to start another challenge. And I was thinking about doing that kind of a trendy thing that was trendy a couple of years ago. So we're going to try and build alphabet houses. So we are going to start with the letter A, and I have figured that we might want to do that in Oasis Springs. So let us load into one of the smaller lots and do that right here. By the way, out here on the lot next door, my one Harry baby challenge used to live, so neighbors. And as for the shape, I'm imagining something kind of simple. So we're gonna go for like a letter N shaped entrance. So that's gonna be kind of simple. As for the shape of the house itself, I do not want to go like too hard too either, just because I literally see no point in that. And I want to make our letter a little like chubbier side. And I've messed up a little bit with the shape. And we might want to have a little bit of like a glass, a divided area out here because we do need the hole for our letter to be. So that's how it is going to be. I'm going to remove ceiling from this little part, and that's our letter A shape now. So what I was thinking, we do need a floor plan. That's literally the first thing that we might want to work on. And I did raise the whole house to medium wall height immediately, just because I was thinking that I might want to use out here some platforms. So I was thinking about platform made staircase just because I find them a little bit fancier. And I want to make this area a little bit like sunk in. And I was also thinking that our top of the whole house is going to be platforms. So we are literally just going to draw literally the one same shape that we already have on the bottom floor, copy it up here, remove the whole ceiling thing because we don't need it up here, and we are going to make it just like a couple of tiles high, and that's going to be done. That's going to be it. Of course, platforms are a little glitchy in the seams, so strongly with that. And that's what we are gonna do, and that's the majority of the shape. Then of course we are gonna redo it slightly in some cases, and I want to extend it a little here so that we have a little bit of an overhang on top of our entryway, and our entryway is gonna be slightly claustrophobic. I'm sorry for that. And actually now I'm thinking that I might do it a little differently. So, and also I had an idea for these weird parts. So what I'm thinking is up on this side we're gonna have a dining area. No, up on this side we're gonna have a dining area, and also out here we are gonna have a kitchen. I want to have like 7 tile long area, so that like 4 tiles of the kitchen and then 3 tiles of a dining area. I'm gonna remove this wall because we don't need it here, and that will mean that we're gonna have some space for a little nook of an entryway, and we are gonna have a little door up here because I was thinking that we might want to have a bedroom on this side. Down on this side, I was thinking that we might want to have a living room, and from this living room, I was hoping for us to get an access to an outdoor area. So as for the outdoor area, I had some ideas as well, and let me quickly figure if we are going to be able to do them properly. So my idea was that this part is going to be a patio. So that's going to be an open part, and I was also thinking that we might want to do it a little bit different up on this side so that we have a little bit more of a patio area in here, and it's going to look somewhat like that. I know that that's a weirdish shape, but I literally do not care that much for now. Or I can do it like that. So that's going to be our patio up here. I'm going to raise it too because the whole house I'm planning on get raised because that's literally what I'm seeing as the right thing to do for here. And on here somewhere we're gonna have a door outside. On here we are gonna probably have a bathroom. Not probably, we are gonna have a bathroom here. It's gonna be rather small. Up in here we're gonna have a door to the outside of the house. In here I was planning to have a tiny little half bathroom because we still do need a tiny little bathroom in the house too. And maybe I'm even gonna do it like that so that it's a little raised in here. And as we are using quite a bit of shapes in here and quite a bit of diagonals, I will definitely need to, like, shape and reshape some stuff. Just like that, so that it's still not single. That's annoying. So that's my idea of the shape of the house. So we are gonna have a patio up here. We are gonna have a bedroom in here. It's a weird shaped bedroom, I know that, especially if you look up in here. Then we are gonna have a kitchen and dining area in here, and in here we are gonna have a big living and entry area. And I was also thinking that we might want to sunk in our living area so that it looks a little bit cozier. Or we can do that, by the way, with our dining, so we'll see about that. And that seems like an idea now, so that's gonna be our shape of the house. A little kitchen, a big living area, a big dining area, and I was planning on heavy usage of these glass panels in here so that it looks a little bit more fancy. So we are gonna have this whole area like a glass piece, and that means that we will need to make it a little knock in here. So just make it like that. Yep, the bathroom is gonna be tiny, and also I was planning on having in here a tiny little deck kind of area. I know that for now it looks a little bit on the sillier side. We do not need a ceiling up here because I want to have open. As for now, that's how it is gonna look. Then up here, I was planning on us having a fountain. I know that I usually not do fountains for my builds, but in here, I just thought that that's gonna be like literally a perfect thing for us to do. Just a big fountain like that, so that's gonna look cute. And then that means that we will definitely need to move the whole house a little bit to the back, like literally one tile. Maybe I've picked a little bit too small of a lot. And then I thought we might want to have a couple more of little fountains in the very front of the house. And that's gonna mean that we might want to have one more platform up here so that it's like gonna be like the whole staircase. I know that most of the landscaping for this house for now is fountains, but I don't mind that. I like fountains, at least in The Sims. I'm gonna stick these fancy trim for the fountains. As for the back fountain, I was also thinking on us using these hatch because, like, we not want our neighbors to look at our fountain and think about it too much. And then I was also thinking that instead of all of these half walls, we might want to use out here fencings. And I desperately do want to use here these fence. It is from the Get Together. I really like it. I like it quite a lot. I use it really often, I think. So if I'm gonna use it, I think nobody's gonna hate me. And as for the house itself, now we might want to rethink slightly the shape of our roof. So I was thinking about dividing this area of our roof and making it matching to what we've got down here. And I was thinking that we might want to have at least a part of this roof like as a glass roof or some sort of a patio like roof. Not a patio roof. I mean, I wanted to use up here something like a pergola, so we'll see about that. Out here, I might even sneak a little tiny little door for us to access the patio directly from the bedroom, so we'll see about that. Maybe that's exactly what I'm gonna do literally right now. I was thinking about using those new base game doors that we've got quite recently, so we're gonna have at least one up here, one up here. As for now, I'm sticking them in a white color because that's neutral. And it's a little interesting thing, but the game just doesn't allow me to raise this whole room on the platform. That's interesting. Huh, what is wrong? That's a new one for me. I cannot change platforms. Oh, now I got it. Now I got why. That's because we are neighboring to a fountain. That's why the game is being a little picky. Annoying, as always. The Sims can do that sometimes. Yes, even in the core. That was fun. Lucky me figured it out, so now that's not a problem. Fun thing to notice, playing for some time. Never encountered this kind of glitch before, so something new. So now we know that the game doesn't allow us to use fountains whenever we are right next to the platforms. Fun times we're living in. We might also want to have more objects on. Just stick several of these bushes down here, so that it's at least a little bit more fun. Also, I was thinking on edging these bushes with some of the lower fencing that we do have. I was thinking about using this one from the base game. It's kind of simple, but I do like it a lot, especially since it gives us that privacy that we might want to have. A little bit of it. And it gives us a nice edge so that these bushes don't look floating. So that's what I like about it too. And I want to extend here the same kind of room-like structure, so that's going to be nice. And then we are going to be able to have similar hatch up here. I'm landscaping it right away so that we do not have any troubles with that later. So landscaping is going to be rather simple. I think you have noticed that already. And we are literally occupying the whole lot. But that was my initial idea, so I don't mind that. As for our staircase up, I was thinking about using something that's going to look a little bit simpler. And I was thinking that I might want to try and use out here get together. Not try and use. I am going to use out here get together because I use it literally almost every single time whenever I'm using something similar to fence. And I was thinking about using some bricks up here. So for now, I'm just going to give these brick edges to some of the fences that we do have. But also, I think we might want to use something like this. A little bit more of a strict trim that we do have to in the game. And maybe it's going to look nice here too. I like having a skinnier stair here, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So the next fun thing that we do have to do is that pergola that I was talking about. So I was thinking that we might want to stick out here some columns in the corners, and I wanted to use these columns, the round ones. They are from the business and hobbies, and I really like the way they look on these exterior pieces. So I'm gonna use it here, and I'm gonna add some to this area just to give it some edges, but actually maybe not. By the way, I completely forgot that I wanted to add up here a roof piece. And if you're wondering why I sound somehow erratic, that's because I had several cups of coffee, so I am. So that was my idea for this little piece, because I was just imagining that up here we're gonna have a little bit of a fenced in divided small area where we're gonna have some of the cute glasses, some of the cute plants. Maybe I'm gonna do it like that so that it's a little bit more of an open area. And this way, right here behind the wall, we are just gonna have these cute and covered stone. And then we definitely need some columns up here to raise them up, just like that. As for the whole exterior part, I was hoping to use some stones from the base game, but I'm not sure which ones yet. Also, I was thinking about using these ones. They are from the weather pack. But what I'm sure about is that I'm gonna use these rocks down here where we have our fountains. And yes, by the way, we are not in the budget. I think you could have guessed that in the moment we got fountains in this house. And I want to use this rock a lot. I just don't know, but it feels kind of volcanic enough for me to look cute in the same time. So we're gonna try and do that here. By the way, up here I did stick this wall, not to leave it in here. I want to remove that, but before I do that, I wanted to add some decor. And you know, we have those panels in the game. We have different ones. Like we have ones that did come, I think, from Eco Lifestyle. These ones, I use them a lot because they're skinny, they look nice, they look cute, and they look like I like them a lot, especially since I use them a lot. And they come in a lot of neutral colors, but I also like one that came quite a long time ago with the Get Famous pack. So I really want to use these ones in here because I like them. So I'm gonna use up here a little bit of short ones because I don't want to make this part a little too tall. I want to make it like medium height, and that's gonna be nice. And they do clip with themselves almost seamlessly, so I'm absolutely fine with the way they do look. And now that pergola that I'm talking about, we are gonna make a custom one. So I think I'm gonna use these base game fencing. So I'm just gonna make like a room up here on top. And I'm not gonna try and make it like too much and too often. I'm just gonna try and make it somehow like similar, like this. Like we don't want it to look like too structural, and we just want it to look cute and nice. And by the way, up here in this corner, I'm planning on just removing this wall and sticking up here the same kind of glass fence as we have literally everywhere else. So we're gonna have a little bit of like an open patio up here, and I'm just gonna stick up here a couple of bushes so that it doesn't look as if it's not intentional, because we want it to look intentional somehow. Just stick some ivy to make it look cute. A slight unfortunate thing is now that we can stick plants on top of our roofings. We cannot stick our plants next to the roofings freely, and that's really unfortunate because that's that we got with an update that we did get kind of recently, and that's unfortunate update is for me. As for the roof itself, I was thinking to color it with grass, but I'm thinking that we have quite enough of green already in here. So I'm thinking instead of grass, I might want to stick in here some darker concrete, and we do have different concretes. We even do have this black one. Also, we do have some metals up here, which do definitely look like a roof. So maybe something we're gonna do with that, but maybe not. And I was thinking that we might want to try and benefit from the fact that we are kind of going into some sort of like an eco site, so we can stick a couple of these panels too. These ones just do not require any maintenance from your sim, so they are really simple to use, and I really like them for that, because there are the ones that do need your sims to get up to them and repair them, and I'm not using them. Do we need SpongeBob? Not. We do not need SpongeBob. And I'm gonna just quickly stitch it all with just simple black roof trim. So now it looks a little bit more cohesive than it did before. And now I'm thinking as for the roof itself, I'm not gonna add anything like more special to the roof, but now we need to figure out some of the windows for our inside. And I was hoping to use some of these windows. They are newer windows in the game. So I think this one might go pretty well on top of our counter spaces. I think I might also want to try and stick similar one up here. I was planning on us having a couch up on this side and a TV down on this side, but do we need a window on top of our couch? And I was thinking about this bathroom that we might just want to stick a tiny little black window so it's not going to be that visible from the exterior. Maybe we might want to try and make it a little bit more invisible, because for now it's a little bit too visible and I don't really like that. I think I might want to stick a similar window up here on top of where our couch is going to be. And as for the door outside, I was thinking about using that newer base game door that we got. We got a new sliding glass door in the base game quite recently. So I'm thinking that I'm going to stick it here as one extra source of light. And I'm thinking that the doors are mainly going to be black. This is quite a bit of doors for a tiny little bedroom, I might say. I think I might want to add a big window like that, but just cover it partly at least with the panel that we've got. I think actually that I'm going to cover it completely. I know that these panels are a little bit annoying to play around because you're going to see them whenever you play, but I don't mind it too much, so I'm absolutely kind of fine with that. So if I see them, that shouldn't be a worry of mine. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna leave this part only partly covered with similar panels, just for us to give a little bit of more of a symmetry vibe, and we don't want it to be like too symmetrical. And I'm gonna extend some of these panels up on this side so that it just doesn't look as random as it used to be. And I'm gonna extend them up on this side too. Like, we did not see that they end abruptly somewhere in the bushes, so I'm not gonna care about it. And I'm gonna add some here for us to cover the window, because we don't want our neighbors to know that we have a window up here. I don't know why I'm imagining it this way, but I want to imagine it this way. By the way, I wanted to add the same sliding glass door up on this side and here, so that we have an exit from our bedroom. And I thought about sticking a window down here into this bathroom. I think I'm gonna even stick a big window in the bathroom. I know that it might be a little bit controversial choice, but I don't know. But I feel it might be kind of cool to have a window like that in your bathroom, especially the one that's gonna look literally nowhere. And I'm gonna cover it partly with just some panels, so or completely, so that nobody can see you bathing. Nobody needs that, and we do not want anybody to see us bathing. So that's what I'm doing. Also, I'm thinking that we might want to add some trims. Like, we don't want our stuff being ending in the middle of nowhere. Like, we want it all be nice and cohesive like that. Does it look a little bit more finished already? I think it should be. Then I was also thinking that we might want to add a little bit of a cover up here. This one from the base game I was thinking about. It comes in this beige color, but I think that we might want to use it in this gray air color, and I'm really wondering if we really do need that. I would have added a platform up here if I could have done it a little bit like not triangular, and I see no option for us but to add it a little bit triangular, and I don't want that. So that's our top view of the house. Still looks like an A for me. And now let's figure some pieces of our entryway itself. So I think I'm gonna do it like that, so we are kind of connected to the front of the house. And I'm gonna use these darker colors tiles. These are like stone tiles. I'm gonna use them everywhere where we have exterior parts of the house. And I'm thinking if I should add a normal window to this bedroom. Maybe I should. Like on top of the bed. Would that look cozy? I think for me it would. So cover it up, of course, because nobody needs to know that we have windows. Apparently, that's what I'm thinking about this house. And now I'm thinking I might also add some variety to the exterior coloring, and I'm gonna add some darker walls up here in some parts, especially where we have windows. I think I want to add one up here too, and I'm gonna add this trim in here as well. Maybe in here too. Should I? No, I shouldn't. That wouldn't look good. And maybe I should add some columns to some of the sides of the house because in some sides it looks a little bit awkward, especially the ones where we do not have any anything dividing the house and stuff. I think I'm gonna add a column up here in the middle of our bushes. That looks a little ridiculous, but that's somehow the way I want it to be. Maybe I should just do it like that so that it kind of overlaps up here. This way we don't need that column in there. That looks a little better, to be honest. Yeah, we literally do have full panel side of this house on one side. That looks ridiculous. Maybe you should still, maybe we should have a sunken living room. Should we? Or shouldn't we? For now, I'm gonna leave it the way it is. Maybe I'm gonna change my mind a little later. And now, my favorite thing about the houses is some architectural lighting. I know that the game starts glitching heavily whenever I add it, but I want to add it because I feel like without it, the house just doesn't look complete. So I was thinking about adding some strips of light up here. These are from the Spa Day, and I use them quite a lot because they add nice look to the house. I'm also gonna add some lights like that in the very front of our house so that it gives a little bit more of a light patch in here. I was also thinking that I might want to add something like that up here underneath our pergola, but I don't want to. But I might want to add something like that up here. No, I will not do that because that would look really ridiculous. I just want to add it to the front because we are imagining like, maybe we have saved some money in the back, so we don't add too much attention to the back of the house, but we might want to add it up here to the very front of the house itself. Then I also want to add these slides to our fountains. That's going to be a little bit of a tedious work because we need 9 keys to raise every single one of them to make them look cute and symmetrical together. And up here in the back of the house, I don't want to add this strip to all sides of our fountain because we have a diagonal side in here and that won't look good because they do not connect properly. Which is a shame because they could have made it like doors for it to extend when it's stuck on diagonal, but of course they didn't. But I just want to give it a little bit of a nice glow to our pool area. Also, we do have a nice architectural light. This one, it is from Lovestruck, and I like using it a lot too, just because it gives this nice glow from the bottom up, which looks really good with some of these panels, so I'm gonna add it here too. I'm adding a lot of them just for our light to be a little bit more even and not kind of stretched out, because that just looks a little better as for me. And of course I will have to add it in here because you see how it glitches in the nighttime. Does it look better now? Add some up here on the sides where we have our windows so that we get some light coming inside our house from the windows so that it looks a little bit cozier and cuter. And then add some here for us to cover the lights, not inside the pool of course, but a little bit higher than that. And one of my favorite things about some of these lights is just by adding them, I literally make this house into this like a glow box, and that looks so weird, but at the same time so fun. And it's such an easy way to add some interest to the build itself. And that's now literally the main shape of the house kind of done. I'm also thinking that I might want to add some of the more ivy somewhere like in the middle, so that we're already using it together, so that won't look off. And I really like the way it just looks sometimes. I'm using this one that looks a little bit as if it's burnt, and I'm gonna use it here too. We'll need to check how that's gonna look in the dark because I know that this one does glitch out as well in terms of light, but that looks fine because these lights, they do give kind of like well spread lighting and it doesn't look off. So that's like our main architectural idea. We are yet again building a modern house Nothing new. When have I imagined anything new? I think never. So don't don't count on me. That's just how I build houses. I think that I actually do want to have a sun living room. Just one tile. Like I'm not gonna do it much. I'm just gonna give us one tile because that's gonna look so much cozier already. Actually, now I'm thinking that we might want to get the whole like 4 tiles and give us a staircase in here as well. Just like that. So that here in the corner we are gonna be able to stick a stereo. Or should we? What is for sure is that if I do that, I will have to unwrap this part of the house. And that's gonna look a little ridiculous in the evening light yet again. I think I'm gonna try a sunken living room, but we are gonna see how that's gonna go. Maybe I'm gonna try and make it a little different, kind of more like that, so that it's not that much in my way. And then we definitely do need some fencing because we don't want our Sims falling down the stairs. Or maybe some half walls, because half walls do work really well in these cases too, as for me. Maybe even better than the fencing. So that's the main architectural thinking about this house. As for the bedroom, my bedroom idea was rather simple. We are just going to stick out here a bed. Really one that doesn't have too high of backside. I think I might even go a little bit for eco lifestyle in here. But let us figure out the whole furniture placement because as for now, I'm getting a little bit lost and that's not really good. So I'm thinking that the kitchen is gonna wrap around somehow like that. I think somewhere here we're gonna be able to stick a stove because I'm thinking that we might want to even use some sort of hood like that, industrial looking one, or we might want to use the light from the Home Chef Hustle pack because that light is gonna be able to give us a decent way of making it look proper. Or we can just stick out here some upper cabinets because just the game doesn't break with that. Like we can do that. But that's gonna look a little bit too close though, but we are gonna see. We are gonna see. Out here in the corner, I was planning on us having a fridge. So the kitchen is gonna be kind of small, but in the same time, I think that that's gonna be kind of a useful kitchen. Not too big, not too small, but gonna be nice. As for our dining area, I was thinking of sticking a table like that because this way we're gonna be able to just sit ourselves like that, and in here we are gonna be able to stick a big wall art in here because we see how big of a wall we have in here. I was also thinking of on us just having something like that, but I think with the way that I have figured some of the exterior decor, that's not happening. Or we can try. It doesn't even glitch, so we can do that. This way we're gonna be able to stick up here just a tall curtain and a wall art up here. We still have a wall full of wall art. And in here is gonna be our entryway. For an entryway, I'm not imagining anything extra. I'm just thinking we will need to figure something out in here to just look nice because we just want our entryway to look fancy. We don't want it to be like anything too special. I'm also was thinking about sticking some sort of an ottoman in here, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing any proper space to do that because you see ottoman is going to occupy quite a bit of space. Maybe we can stick up here something like small next to it, something like a plant in here, and that's going to look kind of fancy. And maybe we're going to stick something like a shoe shelf and not that much. And a mirror up here. That's what I was thinking because we don't really need that much, and that's going to be, I guess, nice looking thing for the house. Also, we might have some taller columns inside, just maybe like that, so that it gives a little bit more of a visual interest for us. In here, I'm not imagining anything special, but as for our living room, I was thinking that we might want to have a couch down here. Maybe we need a bigger window up here on top of this couch, like this one. We are gonna see. Maybe I'm gonna switch to something else. We are gonna see. Then we might also want to have a smaller couch up on this side, or we might just leave this side open for us just to enjoy the view of our front-facing fountain. I will need to stick up here a big curtain, but I'm going to leave these sides on both these walls empty just for us to give us some privacy and not to make it look ridiculous. And by the way, in this house we can afford to have a big TV, but I'm not doing that. Don't even hope for that. I think we are just gonna stick a simple sized like normal TV. I'm gonna stick it not too high, just like that. And then we are gonna be able to stick a stereo somewhere in the corner. For now, I'm gonna stick this base game one. like your Sims are going to be able to listen to that, or we can stick it down here. I would like to stick a stereo like that underneath the TV, but then the TV is going to be too high, and I don't want my TV to be high. I just want it to be on a proper height. Like, we don't need it to be too high. And this way we're going to be able to make it like a gallery wall of sorts or something like that. Of course, I could have done something like that in here, and that would look really interesting, but on the same side, I don't want to stick a TV on a glass wall because that's not my vibe. As for this toilet, as for this bathroom, I'm not imagining anything too much. I'm just imagining that we are gonna have a toilet on one side and a sink on the other side. I'm just imagining that that's gonna be like a hand washing toilet. Like, when you came back from somewhere, you just enter this toilet to wash your hands, and that's it. And that's all you're gonna do, like a vanity toilet of sorts. And then up here, I'm imagining. Let's just go back to the bedroom. Yes, we've been here already and we are back in here. Of course, we are just gonna have a couple of cabinets in here, maybe another wall art in here. Here we are gonna have just an open area because it's like a walking area in here, so literally nothing we can stick in there. And then we do have this weird corner in this bedroom, which I'm literally dreading decorating. Maybe I can even extend the bathroom if I want to. This way we're going to be able to divide like a separated shower area in here and still have a top area and have something like a toilet and sink in here, but I'm not sure. And this way in this corner, the only thing we will need to stick is plants, but then the bedroom is going to be extremely empty. I was also thinking on sticking up here a mini desk because we are not going to have a desk in this house, apparently, but we still might want to have one. And the only problem I'm seeing with that is that I'm not seeing a spot in this bedroom for something like a dresser. And dressers, I feel like, are kind of a necessity for the bedroom. So I was also thinking on scooting the bed a little bit up here, just like that. Then we're going to be able to stick a dresser in here. We're still going to be able to stick a nightstand in here because we can stick a dresser a little bit like that. But I'm feeling like that's going to be a little bit crowded. So maybe just a dresser and a floor lamp. This nightstand will need to be rotated, and as for this corner, I'm still in thinking mode. Maybe we can make it the reading nook. So that I don't forget about this thought, let me just quickly grab some random furniture and stick it up here like that, so that maybe we're gonna have just a reading nook in here. Maybe I'm gonna stick a room divider in here, kind of like diagonally, maybe not, and we'll see. Of course, some curtains are gonna be up on this side, and this side is gonna be the way it is. And as for this bathroom, I'm thinking we might want to have a shower tub combo, of course, but I don't want to have a shower tub combo because I wanted to have a tub, just a tub, from which you're gonna have a view to this back area in here, and that looks like a nice view as for me. I don't know as for you, but as for me, it's like looks like a nice view. Then we're gonna be able to have a normal proper sink in here. Maybe I will need to scoot this door a little bit, like here, close to the corner. I will need to play test that because I'm not sure if that's gonna work. We might want to have a toilet in here, just like that, so that it's gonna be like a little simple tap. Maybe I'm gonna switch around the toilet and the sink. I'm not sure if my Sims are gonna be able to use this toilet because it's kind of close to the door, but they should. They should be able to. They usually are, but I'm not sure if they will be this time. Of course, there is also an option to divide it like that, and then have our bedroom somehow like that. That's a little bit more of practical way to divide a bedroom, I'm thinking too. But I really not like the way these doors are now in the very corner, so that's not what I'm going to do. I will need to playtest that. That should work, but I'm not sure, as always. And now we have only two patios left. As for one of them, I'm just thinking we might wanna. I'm not sticking any gardening supplies up in this house because I really don't want to. I feel like it's not the vibe of this house. I'm just thinking on one of our patios, I'm just gonna stick a couple of these resting chairs, or maybe just one on one side, and maybe just a tray with a drink on the other side. Like, ignore my furniture choices for now. Just ignore it. Like, imagine us having something like that with some drinks up here, with some like cooling drinks, and let us stick tea for now. And we are just gonna have something like a big plant in here, or a bonsai tree, just for us to have an area right next to the house to relax. Imagine just a planet here, and that's gonna be like it for this patio. As for this patio, I was thinking that we might want to stick in here something sort of like a communal dining area because, this looks a little bit more like of a formal patio as for me. So I was thinking that we might want to stick up here this table, not this one, but of a kind. Then we might also want to stick up here somewhere in the corner a little bar, like let it be a patio area. Also, we can make it somehow like that, so that we are just gonna have a little dining area, and maybe even in the middle, because who would stop me from that? And then we are gonna have a tiny little grill up here. Maybe this one from the base game. Like, we are just gonna have a little grill area in here. And then this little nook, I'm just gonna stick in some plants, and literally that's the whole layout figured out, I'm thinking. So now, let us probably go for details. And the first detail that I wanted to add was a fountain part. I'm just gonna stick in each of these pools. It's just one medium and a couple of small ones. I'm gonna do the same for both pools. And in here, I think we can imagine something a little bit more fun. Like I might add this circle. Then we're gonna add some to go in here. So we're gonna have some mid jet, another mid jet, a couple of smaller jets. We just want our fountain to be simple but kind of cute. So that's, I think, literally the whole exterior almost is figured out. The only couple of things that we did not do yet are just a trash can, which I'm thinking that I might want to stick in a little nook that I have just made in here. It should work. It even lights the area. I know that it's a little bit annoying to have a trash can like so far away from everything that you're gonna use, but I feel like I don't care. So that's what we are gonna have. And as for the mailbox, I think that I'm gonna rotate our front door so that the knob is in here. And then we're gonna stick a mailbox up here. And on top of the mailbox, maybe I'm gonna stick a little light. Maybe these strips from this putty pack are a little bit too much. And some lights just leading to the very front of the house. And that's the exterior done. Now let us go for the interior. So for the interior, I think I'm gonna start with a little bit of an easy part. As for me, I'm gonna start with the exterior part of our interior. That's not what I want to do. But as we have a little nice shade up here in our outdoor area, I was actually thinking that we might want to try and use a different kind of grill, like this one. This one is from the garden to the table pack. I like it because it uses only one tile, and I'm gonna quickly filter all of the items in the game just for us to use these kits stuff, because I wanted also to use out here, I was thinking, a little sink, because I feel like in this house having a sink outside is maybe proper, because you see we already have a fountain, so having a sink is nothing so surprising. I think I'm gonna use a little bit more of muted and earthly colors in here. I would also like to use this pergola, but for now we already have no space to do that, so I'm not gonna do that already. And then, as we do have a grill, I was also thinking that we might want to get this little table up here on the side. Maybe I'm gonna use this little bit more of a neutral color for that. And I do not want to stick anything on top of this table, because if we are going to stick something in here, that maybe that's going to be on the shelf, or we are going to have some wall decor of sorts. So as for the shelves, we do have some pretty shelves in this game. I really like these little cup holders stuff from the tiny living, so I think I might want to use it in here. Also, I was thinking that I might want to find some more kind of shells that I might want to like to stick somewhere, like here on the wall, but I don't see anything in particular that I might want to like. Maybe, actually, instead of the tiny living shelf, I'm gonna use this one. This one is from the Forant kit, so I kind of like it too. And I'm thinking that maybe instead of a second shelf up here, we might want to have some sort of like a little wall decor in here that's gonna be good for the exterior, not too much for it, and something that would associate, at least in my eyes, with outdoor cooking. Maybe we should stick this number of outdoor cooking utensils, I would say. It is from Adventure Weights pack, so I think that might go well in here. As for outdoor dining, I think that I might want to go for a little bit more of a generic dining table. So I want to use a one-tile dining table, and I want it to look kind of modern and fancy, but at the same time, I don't want to look too fancy, because we are going, even though this house looks kind of eco and modern, but we are not going like too eco and too modern. And we definitely need something that's gonna look like an outdoor table. So I would even stick something like this. It's from City Living. It's a glass table, which is not a good thing about it. But maybe we're gonna find something similar. There is a table like this in the base game. I'm gonna see how I like it with just chairs all around it. I don't like how crowded this area looks now, and I'm not sure my Sims are going to be able to use this grill. And now as for the bar, I wanted to stick out here a little bar, and I'm thinking I'm going to try to go for the base game because I know that they keep will be using a lot of kits and packs and stuff, but I just like the stuff in the Sims 4, so that's why I use it. That's why I play this game, because I like it. And by the way, we do need different chairs, and I'm thinking I'm gonna go for the plain white metal frame for this table if I'm gonna use that, or maybe if I'm not gonna use that and if I'm gonna use something else, we will see. Maybe I should use just this table. This table is a little bit smaller, so that's gonna look a little bit neater, and I'm gonna switch around some stuff in our outdoor kitchen yet again, so sorry for that. But as for these tables, so we might want to have some items in it that are going to be kind of simple and not too indoorsy. I like these chairs, and I never felt that they look really indoorsy, so I think I might use them here. I'm going to use the black frame for the table itself. But now I feel kind of obligated to go a little darker with the chairs, so maybe I should stick out here lighter table like that. That looks kind of nice. I'm gonna see if I can stick something like out here in our area in here just as lighting. By the way, we might want to color the inside of this wall black so that it looks a little better. I might think that I might actually use even this light from the base game just sized down once so that it doesn't look that extra. I know that it's an island table, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of okay with using it here, and it kind of does cover nicely in our pergola. I know that that looks ridiculous, so we might want to raise it up a little bit, several tiles. So I'm gonna just raise the tab with 9 key a couple of times, and now it kind of goes right into our pergola, and that doesn't look so ridiculous as it did before. So now at least it looks like it's mounted into something. So I'm I'm feeling better about it now. And it's not that visible from the exterior because, it's white. We have a white table underneath, so that doesn't look off. We might want to have an afternoon light because I like it a little more. So as for our bar neck, what I was thinking is that we might want to stick a plant of sorts somewhere in here, and we might even afford to have a bigger plant because we have quite a bit of space in here. I think I'm gonna stick it in a black pot or in a white one. I think in a white one. Like, we are trying to go a lot for black and white kind of color scheme, so that would go really well. Actually, we go a lot for muted colored color schemes, so maybe something a little more muted is gonna look a little better. Like, even if I'm gonna use gray chairs in here, that's gonna look better too. Like out here, the gray color looks fine, I guess. As for some decor up here, I like sticking some menus in some areas, and I'm imagining that it is a menu and not a to-do list. Like, we are not trying to do anything, so we don't need a to-do list. And I'm gonna check if it's too dark up here in our bar area, and it definitely feels too dark, so maybe we might want to have a light up here on the wall. I'm gonna go for the base game light yet again. I'm gonna try at least. Of course, I'm not promising anything. Oh, by the way, we might want to stick this light up here where we have our exit from the house, and maybe up here on the level where we do have an exit from the house, and here too. That looks fancy, I feel like. I feel like it's not gonna look fine if I'm gonna stick a light that I did want to stick up here on top of the menu, so maybe I'm gonna try and use this one. It's neutral, it's gray, it looks fine. I'm fine about it. Maybe we do need a carpet. We do need to rock up here. Not a carpet. Rock. For sure, not a carpet. I like the shape of this one, but I don't like the colors it comes in. I might want to use this rock. It's from Adventure Weights, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna find good matches for me. Maybe in this color, in a pink. And that kind of gives us, I feel like, a little bit of a fine vibe around this whole sitting area. I think I'm gonna move it all a little bit off. Now we'll need to raise our lights yet again. So that's gonna be the sitting area done, I guess. I don't feel like I like this table. Maybe I should switch it to something else. I know that it feels extremely indoorsy, this table, but I'm kind of feeling like that's gonna look fine in here. And maybe now I need a different rug because I don't like this rug anymore. Maybe this rug should do here. It kind of occupies the space nicely. I think just from a different kit so that I don't overuse kits, especially since I can use similar rug from a different kit, just like that. Yes, we have similar kits, similar items in different packs, but yeah, need to work with that, need to remember about it sometimes. We also already have used Lovestruck in here, so I think a palm like this or whatever plant it is in here. He's gonna look really cute up here next to our dining table because we try to make this area look a little bit on the greener side. As for this area, I was thinking about using something like these palms. This one comes from the island living. I think we might use a couple of them. One in the pink, the other one is just gonna be in a greener color so that we have like a little splash of some light. Also, I wanted to use the underlying bush from the same kit in here, from the same pack. Island Living was not a kit as far as I remember that, just like that, so that it's kind of in here and gives some volume to the whole space. And I also wanted to use this monstera. It is from Jungle Adventure, and Jungle Adventure has really good grasses and stuff just to decorate some sort of like this tropical corner somewhere in your house, so I like using it a lot for this purpose. Island Living has nice items too, but Island Living is a little bit more like a bright and islandy vibe. But as for Jungle Adventure, it has a little bit more of like a tropical vibe, I feel like. So I like using it a little more sometimes. Just like that, like a little tiny little greenhouse in here. We might also want to stick some lights in there, but I'm not sure how that's gonna look. We'll try. I think I'm just gonna stick these LED strip in the corners and I'm not gonna stick anything like directly in there because it still gives that light vibe that I wanted to get, but in the same time, it just doesn't interfere all that much with anything else that might want to do here. So I feel like that's gonna be fine. I think this exterior part might be considered done. Now let us go like fully for the interior. So what I was thinking, we have a little bit of split level thing going on right away. So we might want to try and go a little for that mid-century modern kind of vibe. I know that the house itself doesn't scream mid-century modern, but I think that if we go for it, we are gonna achieve something. So I think we might want to use these diagonal floorings everywhere, especially since we do have pretty amount of diagonals, especially in this bedroom. That's gonna look kind of cozy from here, I feel like. And that means, and actually that did change the house drastically, and I already love that. I think in these kind of staircases for both of these sides, just because we might want to go for similar staircases, we don't want to make it too difficult and too interesting for my liking. I'm not sure about anything like wallpaper and stuff, but I was thinking about using some of these panels, at least in some areas in the house. But they don't tile nicely where I might want to use them, so I'm not sure that I want to use them anymore. So I think let us start right away with the living room. So as for the living room, I think kind of settling thing that's gonna tell us the mood for the whole house is gonna be the couch we are gonna pick. And I kind of do like the couch that we have in Get Famous, which is in this mid-century modern kind of vibe. This was the couch I was looking for. Somehow I thought that it would be orange in here. And I think I might want to bring a lot of these shade of green color in here. I also do really like using this stereo in the houses like that. We might want to have a big TV, but not that big of a TV. That was a really big TV. We might want to use, by the way, this huge base game screen. We might even set it a little taller. I know that that is borderline TV to high, but I don't really care because I feel like it's fine. Also, I think from the Get Famous, we might want to use some fun furniture that they do have in this pack, like maybe this chair, and we might want to go quite a bit for yellows. Also, some of the walls, I feel like we confidently can leave kind of like bare brick look and bring in some of the stone that we don't have in the outside of the house. There is also this really nice coffee table in the Get Famous pack, but I do not want to use it in this color because maybe I should just change the color of the flooring because the flooring seems to be a little bit off-putting as for me. And by the way, we are now limited to no use of any wallpapers with trims, especially in these areas, so that's gonna be a little bit problematic, I think. By the way, I think as we are using Get Famous already, we might benefit from this trim up here where we do have the columns. So that's the main layout of our living room. I think we only do need the rug. We only do need something like a statement plant somewhere in here in the corner, or maybe this armchair can go in here and we can have a statement plant up here. And by the way, we wanted curtains. Curtains gonna be a little not an easy topic in here since we have quite high walls. I was thinking about using these ones from Business and Hobbies because they do look really nice when you stick them in these corners. And they do come in this pretty golden yellow swatch, so I like them a lot. And then we do need a fan rug, and Get Famous has some nice rugs like this one. That looks like a rustic rug, don't you think so? I think that you do. But this one has some nice swatches too, because if you don't use this rug, it has like swatch like that. That looks good. And some other swatches, like I wouldn't mind using them as well, like this one. That's perfect for a mid-century house. I would use it in here if it didn't float. Like a swatch like that to neutralize the whole bright and colorful mid-century vibe. I think that's nice. I also think that a table like that would look really good as a TV table. I really, by the way, do like stuff from Get Famous because it's really, really nice looking stuff. I find this plant extremely ugly, by the way, but I want to stick it in here just because I feel like it matches the vibe. It just matches the vibe. So we might want to have a plant like that in here. I would stick a huge plant somewhere in the corner too, but I'm sure that that would look really nice. I think we might also stick a bonsai tree up here just as a skill building tool, because even though we are building this house kind of from an inspiration, we are not trying to make it ugly intentionally, so let us not. There is definitely not enough space for any art in this house. I also wanted to add just a shelf up here on top for us to cover some curtain bases. We are already using Get Together, so I don't mind using the stuff from the pack too. This curtain knob is a little annoying. It just sticks where I didn't want it to stick. I removed this one in a little bit too. So now the living room is kind of done, just some slight tiny little decorations as for it left, and that's gonna be it. Is this the house where I'm getting to use this item from Get Famous? I think I've never used it because I never find a space where it looks nice. But apparently it is the house where we are gonna use it here because that's a perfect corner for something like that. Like what else are you to stick in here? Oh, by the way, what I like about Get Famous is that it has this big art that comes in a lot of different font swatches, which can be used just to brighten up the room. Like for now, I'm gonna stick it in this swatch. It's a little disturbing, it's for me, but we still can do that. And now I wanted to stick some decor items in here, just some clutter for us to decorate the house. Or maybe we can go for the base game because the base game has some magazines that we can stick somewhere in the corners. I think I'm gonna stick a telephone in here just to give us a little bit more of an old house vibe. Also, I'm not gonna stick anything too special, but we might stick some wine in here. Like we are imagining that that's gonna be for fun for us. And then we are gonna stick a fruit bowl in here. I know that wine and fruit bowl are kind of kitchen items, but I'm sticking them here. And just a diary, like we're writing something. What if we are smart people? Like, who knows? We might as well be, like nobody's gonna know. And I feel like this corner is the perfect spot for a big, nice, and beautiful floral lamp. So Get Famous also has this lamp. It's not a floor lamp, but sometimes I can do it like that. Now the texture looks a little interesting, I might say, but it is a very fun lamp, I feel like. And that definitely does look like a big floor lamp, doesn't it? Like look at this lamp, and then look at something of these sorts. That looks the same but fancier, as for me. As if something in the middle between these and this, because this one is a little more round. I'm gonna stick it in here like that because I like it. And now, by the way, for the lights. I know that I'm doing it a little bit in a lazy way because I'm reusing stuff from one and the same packs, but it kind of does work, so I don't mind that. So now that's the living room done. So now for our dining room, I just want to stick out here an accent wall as I have just did. And then up here in the corners, yet again, we are just gonna stick some curtain rod custom made just because the pack that I'm using as for now do not have curtain rods that would cover this monstrosity of the curtains that we are using in here for now. And then, by the way, we might want to remove the table. I did stick this little table from the Get Famous yet again in here, and I wanted to color this tiny little wall brick again because I just feel like that looks really nice as for this part of the rooms. Some stuff that does look a little awkward, it is kind of nice to make it a little different color so that it doesn't look as awkward as it did. And I think that the kitchen backsplash can be black too, so I think I might start with the kitchen in terms of decor in here because that's going to be a little bit easier as for me. Accent wall we have in here already. We have black, yellow, and a little bit of a blue hue colors in here. So I was thinking that we might want to stick a blue kitchen from the base game because I like recent base game kitchen. It's kind of simple, but it's really beautiful to be honest. And I'm gonna stick it so that we are gonna have our stove in here in the corner. That also means that we are gonna be able to have a sink up here underneath the window. And we might want to have some upper cabinets. As for upper cabinets, I don't want to think about it too much. I just want to stick them like that across this area of the kitchen, and I'm not sure that I want to stick any upper cabinets. Up on this wall, I just think that we might want to have a nice big fridge. Like we're not going for a budget, so we might afford an more expensive fridge. Or maybe we should stick some upper cabinets in here in the corner, and then I'm gonna be able to lift up at least one tile all of these corner cabinets, and that's gonna look a little bit more fancy and finished, I guess. I don't like using open shelvings in the kitchen that I'm building just because I would not find them practical in real life, so I don't do that. So that's our fridge, that's our kitchen, and we only need the stove still because I didn't put it in. We might want a stove without a stove top, so I'm using this one. It comes from the Growing Together pack, and I like this pack. And then I wanted to use, I know that I'm not using the kitchen from the kit, but I really like the way that some of the items look. Oh, actually, never mind. I changed my mind. I thought about using the Home Chef Hustle kitchen light, this one up here at the stove top, but I'm thinking that I might want to find something a little better for us in this kitchen, and we might want to get a normal hood ventilation hood because we got some new ones with the recent updates, so that would look kind of practical, I think. This cabinet placement doesn't look really practical as for me, but I think that the whole other way the kitchen looks as a whole kind of goes well for me. I think we might actually use this one. It is from the base game, but it's the local item, so that looks a little bit more hidden, but in the same time I kind of like how it comes in black and silver color. And then for the kitchen stuff, I was thinking that we might want to use out here somewhere in the corner a tiny little hidden dishwasher because dishwashers in the game are kind of practical. Then I think we might want to have some useful stuff like let us stick out here a microwave, let us stick out here a coffee maker, maybe in this dark color. I don't like how on corner cabinets coffee makers do overlap with the cabinet and they kind of stick outside, so I'm gonna stick a coffee maker in here. And then we might want to have some base game decor for our kitchen. I'm not going for the kitchen kit because I don't want to. So we are gonna have some clutter with here, like this cookie jar, because which house would go without a cookie jar? Then we might also want to have something like this tiny little jar with some utensils for the kitchen. Maybe even two, like, we were trying to be fancy, but we are using grandmother stuff. It looks kind of realistic as for me. By the way, as we are here, we might want to stick up here a shoe shelf. I'm gonna size down one bit. Yes, I know. This means that people who are living here have ridiculously small feet, but I don't mind that. We might also have some cleaning utensils up here in the corner. A peer photo. I hate decorating countertops because everything clicks to them not the way you want to click them. So I'm gonna custom stick it in here. Like who wouldn't want to have a peer photo somewhere in the kitchen? Looks kind of practical as for me. Very useful, I might say. Of course not. And some knives. That's literally all that we might want to have. A block of knives. I'm gonna imagine as if your Sims are gonna cook like somewhere on this counter, but of course they are gonna use this one in the corner. I'm leaving one counter empty because we don't want your Sims to not be able to cook. We want them to be able to cook, so we are leaving one counter empty. And by the way, as we have an entryway in here and I'm literally right next to that, we might as well just stick out here a mirror. And I want to leave our entryway rather empty, but I might think that we might want to use something like a little chair in here somewhere or something in sorts of ottoman, but that's not going to be an ottoman because ottomans are kind of huge in the game and I don't really like them. I like this one because this one looks a little skinnier, but it just looks a little off, so maybe we might want to use this one from Cats and Dogs or this one from Dream Home Decorator, or as we were already using some of the island living stuff, I might even stick this one with just one taller plant to cover us up when we are sitting in here. I know that looks fun when you look at it because, like we have a plant in here, we have a plant out there. Like you see your brothers, here they are. But we're not going to imagine it's if any of your plants are talking, because that would be really weird. And also, I think that we might want to stick another painting in here right next to the one we already have in here, just for the vibe, like that, so that we have a couple of fun paintings in here. And then another one I was thinking to stick in here. Let this one be a generic butterflies. Oh, by the way, we might want to stick this painting in here because it's one of the newer ones. It gives a little bit more of an ethnic vibes, and I really like the way it looks in here. And maybe we might want to go for all base game paintings because we got some quite recently, some newer base game paintings, so we might want to use them like that. As for the kitchen lights, I think I'm gonna go for quite generic choice of mine, just a couple of dot lights so that the kitchen doesn't look really dark, so it looks a little bit more bright. Our window up here is not gonna be coverable. On top of our microwave, I don't think that we really need anything. This counter looks like it's usable, but it's not, so keep that in mind. And I might want to use out here something like that, like some knives, but we already have a block of knives in here, so we don't need that. But we might want to stick up here a little menu, just sneak another one in here. I know that I already have one up here, but we can have another one. Like, who's gonna stop us? Reusing items in the same build is not a crime. I might also change that just like that. Let us have out here this orange painting. So now for the diner. As for this shelf, I usually prefer not to occupy it with any stuff, but we might want to stick just one plant in here. Just simple ones, just let us go for the base game. Like, we are imagining that nobody really needs that much plants in here. I'm gonna go for this blue pot in here of plants. Also, there is a dining table in the Get Famous pack that I absolutely love. I use it all the time whenever I'm able to, whenever it matches the style of the house, and it is this one. I really love the way it looks because it looks really fancy and it looks really nice. And I'm gonna give it a little bit of a lighter color in here. And from the Get Famous, we might want to use these chairs, so this table it is. And we might want to use the same rug that I have already used in the other room. But it jumps up the platform, so I'm not thinking that that might be a wise idea on my side, which is unfortunate because it's a nice rug. Sometimes it's so frustrating to be limited by the way the platforms work in the game. Like, I cannot even sneak this rug up here even when it's sized down. And I just think that this rug from the base game is gonna look kind of fancy in here as well. And then we need only a big, like, pendant light, like not a pendant light, but big statement light on top of our dining area. And that's gonna be a little bit of a struggle because we need something that goes pretty low. And I might even do something of sorts in here, and I might want to stick some oversized shelf in here just to cover the shame of the way it looks. Just like that, so that it looks like it's a block, but there are some lights taken from it. Just like that. So that now we have this little weirdish block on the top, but in the same time, we do have this cute light setup on top of our dining table now. That looks like it's custom made, so that looks kind of fancy. It actually is custom made because I have just custom made it. And I'm thinking that we might want to benefit from another tiny little rock in the kitchen, just out here where we have our dining, just to bring in some more of a brown in the kitchen because we have quite a bit of browns and we don't have, by the way, anything in the yellows in here, so that's a little unfortunate. But that kind of gives a nice fancy dining area in here as well, I feel like. So I'm kind of satisfied about it too. And now the only thing that we have got left is just a bedroom and a bathroom. Actually, I've play tested off the camera these type of bathrooms and they do work, so I'm fine with that. As for the bathrooms, I want to go for decor to the max in here again because I just feel like something like Pink Tiger kind of does speak to me. I'm just gonna neutralize it a bit with this simple black wall, at least one of them. And then the only couple of things that we do need for these bathrooms, for this exact bathroom, we do not need really much. We just need a toilet. And don't worry, I'm not gonna use these golden toilets. It is from the Get Famous, and we are using quite a bit of Get Famous, but I'm not using that here. And I think I'm gonna use these Get Famous sink in here. Something simple but fun for the mirror. Like, I really do like the way this mirror from the Adventure Awaits is set up. Then we just might want to go for some simplicities. Like, we are just gonna have an overhead cabinet in our bathroom. We might also want to have a toilet paper up here in the corner. Something like a pink hand towel in here, and maybe a little rug. Or maybe no rug, because I feel like this flooring is a statement by itself, so it really doesn't need no rug. Or I can just stick one like that and call it a day. Then we might want to have the similar light we have on the outside on the inside. And where we have our sink, I'm thinking that we might also have a couple of lights on top of our hat, just to give us a little bit more of an even lighting in our whole bathroom. So that looks a little bit more fun. We might also want to move our window like a quarter of a tile so that it's right directly against our door, and we might want to stick out here a curtain. And as for the curtains, I'm not imagining anything like special on you, just blinds in the pink, of course, because that's our accent color in here. So that's the bathroom. And as we are using Decor to the max already, I was also thinking that I might want to use some parts of it in our bedroom. Like we might want to use this chair in here, and I'm thinking that we might want to tame it a little bit in the bedroom with just sticking some decor items which are a little bit on a more neutral side. Like, of course, I'm not gonna stick this guy in here, but we can stick something like that. And I'm thinking this room divider might go really well if I'm gonna stick it in the bedroom just in here at the foot of our bed, just to cover us up a little bit. We might even have the most generic bed in the game. Yes, I think we might want to have the most generic bed in the game. I was trying to pick something different, but I'm thinking that something like that, kind of muted, kind of calm, goes really well. I think I'm not gonna stick a nightstand up on this side, but we might want to benefit from having a bookshelf in this house, and we don't have one yet. I'm gonna pick this one from the base game, or should I say big one, because that is a big one. We might also want to add something fun for us up here on top of the bedroom, on top of our bed area. But actually now I'm thinking that I might want to have a little bit of a different bookshelf idea in here. I think we might want to go for some presence of brown colors around this bedroom, because for now it looks a little bit too generic for my liking. And that would bring us some more fun colors. Like we might even go for some mixture of pinks and yellows. Or should we go for pinks and purples? I'm not usually mixing bold colors together in my builds, but I'm gonna try this time. And actually, I think my main problem was the usage of just light wallpaper. When I'm using darker one, it all goes so much better already. I don't usually use some kits like these. It's Decor to the max, and it's so fun. I think that also this bookshelf is gonna be eliminated from this corner, and we might just want to have this chair in here. And let me try using this rug, because I'm not usually, as I have said, a fan of all of these bold colors and stuff, but I'm feeling like now this house exterior just doesn't match what we have inside at all. I think that I have this problem quite often. I think I'm just gonna stick this simple light up here, because I feel like we have quite a bit of details in this house around here already. Especially this room, like you see that. It's hard not to see, it's hard not to look at it. Like if you just knew how conflicted I feel about it all right now. Because on one side, I like it, but on the other side, it feels like so much for me right now. So I'm a little bit conflicted, because that's not my style. That's definitely not my style. That's not the style I'm usually using anywhere at all. But I'm using it here, so that's somewhere where I'm using this style apparently. And up here in the corner, I'm just thinking that I'm gonna use that simple corner side table that I use literally everywhere, this one. And I'm just gonna stick up here a couple of these books and a little plant. And yeah, by the way, I'm not imagining that any of these plants are alive. They are artificial, they are just here for the looks. A pink rock in this corner, kind of fitting. And by the way, I think I'm gonna make this living chair a little bit not usable by just sticking, and I really want to stick underneath here something similar to this, and even maybe even this exact thing, or maybe some sort of different poof that we do have in the game, like this one, and make it smaller, like a marshmallow. Bring it in green so it kind of does match the whole room style. Your Sims will definitely try to sit in here, and they will not succeed really well, but I don't think that I do really care about it all that much. As for our pink tigers in the other room, I think now it is the perfect time for us to have some yellow plants and blue tigers. Perfect opportunity, I think. And I think the walls themselves I'm gonna make kind of neutral. Then we're gonna stick a big fancy tub in here. Maybe not really big, but kind of fancy, I guess. A nice and fancy toilet. Make it blue. And a sink in the middle. Make it blue too. I think layout like that looks good enough to me, and I'm thinking that I'm gonna go a little bit in the lazy way. I'm not just gonna decorate the whole bathroom with this kit. We don't need a rug in here, but we might want to benefit from a plunger. We might also want to benefit from some divider. Stripe this time, don't use it often. A mirror in a golden color. A lamp right next to the mirror, just for it to give a little bit more of a cozy vibe. I'm also gonna stick a lamp from the kitchen later in the bathroom itself. Also, we might want to have some toiletries in here, like we do still need a toothbrush, something like towels up here drying in the corner, maybe a couple of tiles of these shelves in here. We definitely do need the toilet paper. Let it be up here, right next to the plunger. We might also want to have some toiletries like this in here where we have our tap, so that looks kind of cute and cozy, but at the same time, like not like too much. I'm gonna stick these shelves almost like right into the wall because I just don't mind that. This way, by the way, we will need curtains only on one side, so that won't be a problem. And now we just need some decor up here, like some fresh towels, some useful stuff. Now that's literally the bathroom done. And that means that the house is done too. This house turned out to be kind of fun this time. I usually don't make houses like that. And this is an A-shaped house, by the way, if you don't remember. And actually, I'm sorry, but I was a little wrong. We're not done yet because I completely forgot about our exterior part. We still have one more lounge area to decorate. I think I'm gonna go a bit for Riviera Retreat Kit in here because I really like the way it looks for the outdoor areas. I'm gonna go golden color in here. I don't think we need another fun feature on the outside in here too. Like we don't have a pool, but we can stick a plant from the kit too. Of course, I would be able to stick up here something like this decorative curtain on the outside too. That would kind of add, by the way, to this whole area. And I'm thinking that we might want to have a little round rug in here because I'm feeling like having a rug, especially in sort of this one. It is from Laundry Day. I know that it's a little of now dated pack, but I still like this rug. The rug is cute. In a light swatch, kind of gives us a fancy, relaxing area vibe. I know that there is no privacy in this area, but I actually don't mind that. So that's gonna be kind of now done. So the house now I think is done. This is how it looks at night, by the way. So we still have some decent lighting out here. We do not really need much lighting out here where we're gonna just lounge. We have a fancy entryway area. We have some fountains everywhere. We have some full glass walls in some areas of the house, so that looks kind of fancy as well. We also do have this patio in the back in here, this patio, another one in the back in here too. On the top we have some solar panels, so we can generate some solar power. It still looks like an A shape, I think, so I'm kind of satisfied about it. In the dark, it looks pretty nice. And as you go up these steps, you can access this front door. From the front door, if you go to the left, you enter our kitchen area. Our kitchen area is kind of simple, but kind of nice at the same time. And from here, you can access our dining area. Dining area is rather simple, but it does its job, so that's literally all that we might want to have from the dining area. Then in here, by the way, I want to remove this column because I feel like it's a distraction in here. This way it's a little bit better now and it's a little bit more walkable space for you sims. Then out here we have an entryway. In the entryway we only have a shoe shelf, we only have a mirror, and we have a tiny little sitting area in here. That's a sitting nook. We do not have any rocks in here, but by the way, we might want to fix that because a runner might be good. Similar to the one that we do have in the kitchen already, but I don't mind that. Now we have a runner. Now it is a little bit more finished looking. Then from here we can access our first bathroom. Our bathroom, this one, is pretty tiny, but it's kind of maximalistic in the same time. From here, if you go down the stairs, you're going to access our living room. In the living room, we have a kind of fancy area where we have a big fancy couch, some big fancy curtains, some stuff to do because in here you can watch some TV, you can listen to some music, you can also work on your bonsai tree. And in case if your Sims read, they can read in here too, in case they have books because we don't have any bookshelves in here. Then, if you go through this door, you're gonna access our bedroom area. Bedroom area is kind of poorly lit because we don't really want to have any bright colors, any bright light in our bedroom area because we out here we want to relax. Out here, we want to get ready to sleep. Out here we have this little room divider that divides our entryway to the bedroom area from our bed, and it also divides our bed from this view to this glass area so that your guests do not see your bedroom because that would be a little bit awkward. Then through this area you can access our back area, or you can access the bathroom, or you can access this fancy patio in here. So this is like our private patio, but this is our guest patio. So on the private patio, you can relax, you can drink some lemonade, and you can also look at your cute plants. In your bedroom, by the way, you can read. So that's something useful in here. I did not stick a computer in this house, but if you want to, we have plenty of tables, so you can stick a computer on any of them. Then in this bathroom area, we do have a little bit of a fun layout. So this is our toilet, this is our sink, this is our bathtub. Your Sims should be able to use that, but if they're not, I'm sorry. You can always switch the bathtub to the shower and it still would work. And also our back patio. It's pretty simple part of the house. It's the most minimalistic part because I know that kind of minimalistic parts are our exterior parts. So in here we have a bar where we have this cute picture. Then out here we do have our tiny little outdoor dining area in case you want to sit out here and relax with your friends. It's all our fountains. And then in here we have our little outside kitchenette. So in here you can use the kitchen. And by the way, the only thing that I completely forgot about is an indoor trash can. I'm not sure if you really want to have one, but if you do, I might stick one here because it's the only spot in the house that we have left to stick a trash can. I think I'm gonna stick a bucket one because I like it. And that is now the house done. So I think I'm gonna thank you all for watching. And if you like videos like that, can subscribe to my channel. This build is going to be on my gallery. All of the info about this build is down in the description of the video, so you can download it. And thank you all for watching. And this should probably be a goodbye. So bye guys.